Hanging out at Holladay Distillery here in Weston, Missouri, having a lot of fun with my buddy Jake Stack, sipping on a smoking stagecoach with Hassan's tequila here at Holladay Distillery, watching college prospects, having a good time. We're gonna talk a little bit about the receivers. I know it's a position that Jake is really excited about. He covers it for the KCSN Draft Guide, and one of the top guys in this class, Jameson Williams. His tape is as good as anybody's in the class. Obviously, there's the injury history with the ACL, but what a player, man.
What a player is right. OSU transferred, so played for Ohio State, transferred to Alabama, and absolutely blew up this year. When you watch him, the first thing that comes to mind is easy speed. And he's a guy that I think on that track at the Combine this year, we might have seen him break the record, because you're not going to catch this guy. His ability to get vertical and run and quite literally hit his head on the goalpost like he just did is the best in this class.
Yep.
And it's not just that, though. We'll see here how he's able to operate in space. That's a really nice route for a guy that is able to kind of leverage his speed and get guys on their toes and be able to take advantage of that. He's a guy that understands how he plays the game and how he should play the game because of his ability with the ball in his hands, like you see right there. Special teams value, if you want it. I mean, he is a special player when it comes to just raw speed you can't teach, and someone that even with the ACL injury that he suffered in the national championship game, I think we could still see going in the first round, just because when healthy, he has the type of physical ability that just does not grow on trees.
Absolutely. And advanced route runner, like you're kind of talking about, I think he's a better route runner than people give him credit for. He is not just a one-trick pony with his speed. There's some guys that have had issues translating just being fast. This guy actually has some fluidity through his frame and ability to run routes and whip out of breaks really quickly and suddenly. And with his speed, he gets on the heels of cornerbacks very quickly. He's an absolute problem. And I think he's kind of scheme versatile too. I think he's a guy that you can operate in the slot. You can line him up as a Z outside. You can run him on a post, but I think he can operate underneath too. You can run him on little drag routes, get the ball in his hands, and let him go create with his with his linear speed. So really special player. And it's a shame that he was hurt. I think he's a good value. I think someone's going to wind up taking him at some point in round one. There's another guy coming off an injury that we're really high. In fact, in the KCSN Draft Guide, our wide receiver one is George Pickens out of Georgia. And it's a shame that obviously he had an injury as well, but he came back late in the year, put on some really good tape. But it's not just his tape coming back. The tape before his injury, he was looking to be a generational talent. And I think we kind of have him placed as a generational talent now, or potential to be a generational talent.
Yeah, we have a first round grade on him, and I put the initial grade on him as a first rounder, and I was kind of nervous. Like, did I miss something? Then some other guys that we work with put their grade on him too, and it was similar, because you look at the ability that he has. 5-star recruit, good college tape in the SEC. Like those guys typically just don't fail at the NFL level. And you look at his ability to track the ball downfield is very impressive. He is a bully down the field. And I think Bill Belichick actually said it this week, and that's a great example right there of getting off the line of scrimmage. His 10-yard split is in the 90th percentile. For a guy that's 6'3", above 200 pounds, that's really rare. His ability to get off the line of scrimmage and to get into his route stem quickly. And I think Bill Belichick said, it's not how fast the guy runs, it's how fast they can go in 10 yards, how fast they can get off the line of scrimmage. And George Pickens is a guy that can get off the line of scrimmage as well as anybody. He has the strength to really be an issue to try to press. He is a true outside receiver at the NFL level who has deep speed, who can press defenses vertically. He's a guy that you have to respect in all three phases of the game, short, medium, and long, because of his ability as an athlete. I think the one knock that you have on him is he exploded onto the scene his freshman year, and he didn't really develop like you'd want to see his sophomore and junior years.
And injuries are part of that.
Some of that is injuries. Some of that is the fact that he played for Georgia, who wants to just run the ball down your throat and take some shot plays with George Pickens. And they're not a team they're not a high volume passing team. But when he got his opportunities, he cashed in on them. And even in the national championship game, you saw the one catch that he had was the super important over the shoulder, tracking the ball.
Yeah.
Impressive catch that he did have. So
yeah, it was a special play.
He is a guy that has a chance to go in the first round, maybe not be the first receiver taken, but in a couple of years we might look back at this and say he should have been.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree, and I would love to see if he's available at the Chiefs, which I don't think he's going to be, I would take him in a heartbeat. Another receiver, a kind of a sleeper type, a guy that's probably going to wind up in day 2 of the draft is my guess, but could really, jump onto the scene here in the NFL. Alec Pierce out of Cincinnati, and I think you got to start a special athletic profile. I think he was on Bruce Feldman's freak list at the beginning of the year as one of the freakiest athletes in college football.
Yeah, he was, and he is a freaky athlete. He tested extremely well at the NFL Combine, especially at that size. And he does, for whatever reason, he has flown under the radar a little bit in this year's draft class. He's kind of gotten lost in the shuffle, but I think he is going to be a guy that goes on day 2 as a 2nd or 3rd round pick, and have success, as we've seen with so many guys that have gone in the 2nd and 3rd round to go on and have a lot of success in the NFL. One thing that he did really, really well at Cincinnati is he was a big-time vertical threat, and you see right there that little stutter and go with the ability and the catch radius
from his frame,
to get over the top and be a threat down the field. One thing that I would like to see him develop a little bit more is his short to intermediate route tree. He does have a little bit of stiffness in his hips, but the way he plays the game, I'm not sure it really matters because he is such a threat to get vertical, and he does have such a big catch radius, and he is strong at the catch point. A guy that when I watched him, he reminded me of Kansas State legend Jordy Nelson. I know that is a super, super high, lofty comp for him, but that's the type of talent that he has, and he is the type of athlete, for whatever reason, sneaks up on people, and then before you know it, he's in the end zone.
Well, that kind of athletic profile that he's put on display is, there is a little bit of Jordy Nelson to him. And I love watching his strength with his hands, just with his hands. Obviously, I think he's strong at the point of contact, but just his hand strength too is really, really impressive. He's a guy that can win the ball down the field. I think he can profile as an X-type receiver if you want. He can beat you off the line of scrimmage against press. He can beat press with ease. I am fascinated to see as his routes develop. If he's the guy that can maybe kick inside a little bit, maybe he does, can become a power slot because he's just a unique physical profile. Getting him moved around a little bit more, adding some versatility to his game could be very valuable to him as he develops as a receiver. But he put together a fantastic Senior Bowl. I think he had a really good process there. Tested really well at the NFL Combine. There's a lot to like about what Alec Pierce brings.
And I think he's going to be a guy that can play early because I love how his hands and his feet work together at the line of scrimmage to beat press coverage. He is experienced in that. He is a senior. He's played a lot of football at Cincinnati, and he's been well coached. So he's a guy that maybe he is kind of that niche player early in his career as a deep threat. But that's super valuable in the NFL.
Yep, day 2 prospect Alec Pierce could be really good value for someone. Maybe it's the Chiefs.